Coming up on City Scene, we drive over to the northeast part of Sioux Falls to check in on road construction there and find out what improvements are also coming to city parks along with changes to the tobacco use policy there. Welcome to City Scene right here on CityLink, where each month we go all around the departments in the city of Sioux Falls. Today we start with the green light on a project in the northeast part of Sioux Falls. It's a road construction project for Veterans Parkway. Shannon, tell us more.
Well, hello again, Sioux Falls. We are highlighting a project today that is personally one of my favorites. Veterans Parkway from Maple Street up to Rice Street. Now, many of you folks probably have no idea what's going on because it really doesn't impact the driving public, but it is going to be such a big part of our daily commute. We wanted to make sure we give you an update on it. I have with me Mike from the DOT. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Hey, glad to be here.
So, last couple years, we've kind of been following you around. Last year was Interstate 229 and 29, and we also updated our viewers on the south portion of Veterans Parkway between Madison and Maple Street. So now we're 1 mile to the north.
Correct.
And give our viewers an idea what's going on.
Okay, so kind of a overview is like you said, last year we finished up the stretch from Madison to Maple. We're now picking up and building that next mile from Maple to Rice Street. This project is a $14.9 million project. It's 1.1 million yards of dirt being moved out here.
That's a lot of dirt.
That is a lot of dirt.
Can you quantify that for our viewers to kind of understand? I mean, that's a lot of dirt.
It is a substantial amount of dirt.
Yeah.
I would say a typical project for us, from a grading, a big project would be 200,000 yards of dirt.
Okay.
So this is 5 times that.
Right. Okay.
So it is a lot of dirt, a lot of equipment, as you can see behind us working here.
And that's what they're doing, is they're moving dirt to be able to bring the grade up?
Correct. So we're cutting the hills down, we're raising the grade in the low areas to create a smooth ride for our traveling public. Okay. So that's what you see out here right now. We're probably 50 to 60% done of hauling our dirt. To date, we have put a little bit of select subgrade topping, which is kind of a gravel material that we mix with the dirt to give us a good sound base so our roadway doesn't settle.
So Mike, when you go through hills like this, is it just raw dirt, or is there some gravel that's actually in the hills that you can reuse?
There are. So out here, contractors actually opted to use some of the gravel for the select subgrade topping. It has to meet a certain soil type, and that is a special material that we look for. We have all different types of soils out here. We've got we have silt, there's gravel, there's clay, there's all types of dirt that we are using and cutting down and putting back in to build our road bed.
Okay. So along the southern portions of Veterans Parkway, we have a bicycle/pedestrian trail. Do we also have that here along this segment?
Yes, we will carry that pedestrian trail up through, I believe, all the way up to I-90.
Okay.
So this portion will be built as well, and we'll be adding, I guess, another mile worth of bike path.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the connection to Rice Street. So when drivers are going on the existing Rice Street, they'll see a gravel path to the north of the existing right-of-way. So is that the new alignment of Rice Street?
That is the new alignment that you see out there. It's actually pretty well built. We have the select subgrade. It's ready for gravel now. So yes, as you turn and look from existing Rice Street, you go up about 25 feet.
Because the intersection will be raised of
It'll be an at-grade intersection with Veterans Parkway.
And then we'll go over the railroad tracks, is that right?
That is correct. We'll go over the railroad tracks and the Big Sioux River on our next project.
Okay.
That project from Rice Street to I-90 is bidding in August of this year.
Okay, and that's a 2-year project?
That is a 2-year project to be built in 2018 and 2019.
So there's a pretty long bridge on that one. You have any idea?
It is, I believe that structure is 2 of them actually, 850 feet.
So they're long, okay.
They're very long.
So are there any more direct impacts to our Brandon citizens that are commuting, like with Rice Street? I know there's a couple of Rice Street closures.
We did have a couple of Rice Street closures earlier here this spring. I don't anticipate to close Rice Street going forward. Obviously, when we come to haul the gravel in and we pave existing Rice, we're going to see truck traffic and that uptick, but Rice Street will be anticipated to stay open.
Okay. So when our drivers come out here, they can see a lot of private utilities being relocated and moved, and this had to be a tremendous coordination effort between all of the governmental agencies as well as the private utilities. So, you know, how has that been to work with these private utility companies?
You know, private utility companies have been actually, this stretch of project from a utility standpoint isn't that complicated.
Okay.
Our next stretch, the 18 and 19 construction, there are a lot of overhead power lines and a lot of different power companies. We have WAPA down there, Xcel Energy. All of these utility companies have been very good to work with, and like you said, it's been very complicated to get these relocated so we can build it in a 2-year time period.
Right. Well, and I always want to mention the environmental side, and so this particular portion between Rice Street and Maple is the most environmentally sensitive corridor, where we have the lion snake, have the fringed orchid, have all that, you know, environmentally sensitive issues. So does the contractor, if he sees a snake or if he's aware of the situation, and he will protect that, right?
Yes, we have a plan note that says if a lion snake is encountered to stop operations, you know, back away from the snake and call the associated personnel, which probably be me, and then on to our environmental people to try and make sure that we preserve what we have out here and that there's safe passage for the snake across our construction project.
Kind of a unique situation for a large construction project.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And to date, we haven't seen a lion snake yet, but I do anticipate we will come across one at some point here.
Great. Is there anything else you want to tell our viewers about this project?
You know, at this point, in general, I'd say the overall completion date, we're on schedule. Overall completion date is November of this year, with a substantial overall in June of 2018.
Okay. And then the next phase will definitely be underway before Christmas of this year.
Yeah, I would anticipate that the contractor will opt to start construction on the bridge, and maybe a little bit of dirt this fall yet, depending upon weather conditions.
All right. Well, we will definitely be back.
Sounds good.
Because I want to be back and check this out. So thanks so much for your time.
You bet, not a problem.
Back to you.
Thanks, Shannon. Now, if you're traveling by 2 wheels instead of 4, there are some improvements coming to the city bike trails, and that's not the only thing that will be getting a facelift this summer.
Hello, this is Tori Miedema, Park Development Specialist for the City of Sioux Falls Park and Rec Department. Today we'd like to give you a sneak peek of a few projects that are under construction or will be starting soon here in 2017. First project I'd like to talk about is our bike trail reconstruction project. The project will start at Minnesota Avenue and go to Cliff Avenue. That's 1.25 miles of trail that we'll be reconstructing. The project will widen the trail to our new standard of 12 feet, and we'll also realign it so that will help sight lines around curves, and then also fix some drainage issues that we have along the trail. After phase 1 is complete, we will reopen this whole trail segment, keeping the whole main trail loop open until September. Phase 2 will start in September of this year and will be completed in November. That trail segment is the piece that goes near Spencer Park. This trail section is one of the most heavily used pieces in our main trail loop. We've done some trail counting, and we've noticed that this is definitely the most popular section. Next project I'd like to talk about is our new bike trail development project from Marion Road to the flood control dam at the Country Club of Sioux Falls. This will be a new stretch of bike trail, 1.25 miles long. It will follow the north side of Skunk Creek, and it'll provide a direct connection for west side residents to the main trail loop. We'll start the project this fall after permitting is complete, and we'll pave it in the spring of 2018 and open it up to the public. We also have an exciting new project coming out here at the Great Plains Zoo and Delbridge Museum. We'll be replacing the brown bear exhibit. Part of the project will include new bear holding, allowing the zoo to bring in new bears and more bears. And then we also be creating new habitat to the north of the existing habitat. Be a grassy meadow area, and we'll be renovating the existing exhibit, taking out some of the concrete and giving it a more natural and attractive looking feel. One of the most exciting parts about the project is a water feature that'll be out in the new meadow area that will provide for underwater viewing of the bears. The existing bear exhibit has been here since the zoo opened in Sioux Falls. There was a major renovation in 1987, and then a smaller renovation in 1994. So this is a big, new, exciting deal coming for the Brown Bears. Project is under construction right now and will be complete in December of 2017. The Bears will be coming shortly after that, and keep your eye out for a grand opening of the new Brown Bear exhibit in spring of 2018. Last project I'd like to talk about is the Playground Replacement Program. This year's project will replace structures at 4 locations: Lower Tuthill Park, Baker Park, Meldrum Park, and Keene Park near Oscar Howe Elementary. We try to replace structures after 20 years of service. This brings the structures up to our current industry standards for accessibility and safety standards. The structures that we'll be putting up this year are a combination of a traditional structure with slides and platforms, and with more climber type features mixed in. The climber type features have been a lot more popular today with American Ninja Warriors and things like that, and kids really love them. Our structures will also be featuring poured-in-place rubber surfacing, which is top of the line for accessibility and safety. They are currently under construction, and the completion date for the project will be in August of 2017. For more information about the construction projects going on in the parks or about the park system in general, visit our website at www.siouxfalls.org/parks. Thank you, and hope to see you out in the park system this year.
Coming up after the break, when you head to those city parks, you'll need to know about a new tobacco use policy.
The City of Sioux Falls has a powerful way you can turn this into this. The free sanitary landfill pass can help you get rid of clutter, improve the look of your home, reduce areas that mosquitoes breed in your yard, and help the environment. Load up your stuff, grab your free pass, tarp your load, and bring it to the landfill. It's that easy. Brought to you by the City of Sioux Falls Sanitary Landfill.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cabrera Spencer from Falls Community Health. Summer is finally here, so it's a great time to get outside and be active. I'm here to remind you about bicycle safety. Before riding, make sure your seat is adjusted and your brakes work well. When riding your bicycle, watch for cars, pedestrians, and other bicycles. Ride on the right, use hand signals, and obey traffic signs. Wear bright clothes and, of course, your good-fitting helmet. If you have any questions about biking or bike safety, log on to livewellsiouxfalls.org. Have a nice ride.
Stormwater runoff is a major contributor to water pollution. Pollution that enters Sioux Falls storm drains reaches the Big Sioux River untreated. If stormwater pollution were, say, rubber ducks, we might pay more attention to what we are washing down our storm drains. The City of Sioux Falls encourages you to prevent these substances from entering our drains to keep the Big Sioux River clean. Thanks, Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls clean, Sioux Falls green.
Welcome back. To improve the health of the citizens and visitors in Sioux Falls and those that go to our city parks, Katie Wick is here to tell us more about the new tobacco use policy for parks.
Thanks for joining us. Recently, the Sioux Falls City Council passed an ordinance regulating smoking and tobacco use on city property. So we have Mary Michaels from Live Well Sioux Falls with us today to talk a little bit about that new ordinance. Mary, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So talk to us a little bit about why we would pass this ordinance and regulate smoking and tobacco use on our city properties.
Well, we know that tobacco use remains the #1 preventable cause of death. It kills nearly 500,000 Americans every year, and here in South Dakota it's about 1,100 South Dakotans a year. That's almost 3 every day. And we also see rising rates of tobacco use, especially electronic smoking, around with our youth. And so as we look at how do we build a healthier community, we know that by reducing risk factors for disease, we can improve our health. And tobacco is one of those risk factors that we have the ability to regulate that by policy, just to create a healthier environment for people, to support those who might want to quit, and to provide that positive role modeling for youth.
Great. So we have city property all over Sioux Falls, lots of city buildings. So talk to us about what it means around those city buildings.
Well, the ordinance states that there's no smoking within 25 feet of an entrance of city buildings and city property. So you just think about it, as you're approaching city buildings, there's no smoking, and that includes electronic smoking devices within that 25 foot area around those main entrances and windows and ventilation areas of city buildings.
Okay, and our city parks are city owned. And so talk to us about parks and what that means for them as well.
Okay, in parks we do have a little bit of a difference. There is no tobacco use, so any kind of tobacco, whether it's smoking or smokeless, electronic, around city playgrounds like we have here in the background. Also, when there are youth activities taking place, and that is defined as any activity where the primary participant or the audience is mainly 18 years of age or under. So those types of areas and events in our parks are completely tobacco free. Other events that are in our parks that go through the special events permit process, you think about things like the 4th of July picnic, Jazz Fest, Hot Hurley Nights, those events are smoke free. Now, those events can apply through the parks process as they're going through that. To get their permits, they can request a designated smoking area, and that is done in conjunction and with approval by the Parks and Recreation Department. But they can also choose to be completely smoke-free or tobacco-free if they choose. So it's always a good idea if you're going to one of those events to make sure you're looking at the information and understanding if they are a smoke-free event or if there's a designated area. But also just remember, when there are youth around, there's no tobacco use at all.
Okay, and golf courses. We do have a few city-owned golf courses in town. Talk to us about that. And are people able to smoke on the golf course, or is there a designated spot there?
For the city's 3 golf courses, which is Keene, Elmwood, and Prairie Green, the only place that you can smoke on those golf courses is during the course of play. And the way we define that is after you have teed off that first hole, then you are able to smoke, but you have to be finished before you finish your last green. So for example, after you tee off number 1, but before you finish number 9, or after you tee off number 10, but before you finish number 18. So all the areas around the clubhouse, the practice green, the driving ranges, those areas are all smoke-free.
Okay, and we also partner with other entities in town. I'm going to use the event center for an example.
Sure.
Other buildings. Talk to us about those and what kind of smoking regulations are around that.
Well, most of our managed properties, things like Great Bear, the Arboretum, the zoo, the event center, campus, those areas being managed by a third party, they still follow that 25-foot rule around entrances. They may designate a smoking area that's away from public exposure if they choose, but they do not have to. Now, the one difference with the event center is there's the road that surrounds that campus that goes kind of around the event center and the convention center and the arena with the Sheraton Hotel. Everything inside that access road is smoke-free. Now, they may designate an area, again, that's out of public exposure within that road, but just kind of the rule of thumb is if you're in the outer parking lots, there's still smoking available there, but once you cross that road and you're near those entrances, it is a smoke-free zone inside that road on the event center campus.
Okay. There is some enforcement that's probably going to have to, people are going to have to understand what's going on. So talk to us if someone is smoking where they shouldn't be, or if there's a sign. Talk to us about the enforcement and what we're going to do to enforce this kind of ordinance.
Well, what we have found, not only with this type of local ordinance, but even like with our state law that regulates smoking indoors, they're really self-enforcing, meaning when people are aware of the policy, they follow the policy. And so we will be using a combination of ways to communicate the policy. Signs like you see in the playground and park areas. There will also be signs that start to designate those 25-foot zones that people can be aware of where they can and cannot smoke. But then we'll also be using things like the city's website and information cards, and some of our partner organizations, the Pavilion, the Orpheum, the Great Bear, all will have ways to communicate with the people who are visiting their properties as well. And there's no fine attached to this. However, if somebody is asked to refrain from smoking on that property and there is not a compliance, there is a mechanism where then that property can contact us at the health department, or if necessary, contact the police department. But again, we really expect that by knowing what the policy is, we have great people here and our visitors are great, that they're just going to come, they'll follow the policy.
And like you said before, the reason for all of this is for the health of our community. We want people healthy, not only not smoking, but there's other people around them who maybe are not able to tolerate smoke. So talk to us a little bit about if somebody wants to quit.
Great, yeah, and that's really one of the things that we hope to accomplish here is not only reducing tobacco use, helping people quit and preventing people from ever starting. So South Dakota is fortunate. We have one of the best quit lines in the nation, and it's easy to call. It's 1-866-SD-QUITS. And that takes you to the South Dakota Quit line where you can get free resources, phone coaching and counseling support, and that's a great way to start. You can talk to your healthcare provider as well, and visit our livewellsiouxfalls.org website and click on Breathe Well to find links to those resources and more information about the policy as well.
All right, and people can also talk to their own physician or provider too if they have questions about quitting.
Yes, they can. That's a great source of support for them to get some of those resources and information from their healthcare provider. But again, with a free resource, the quit line is definitely the way to go.
So if our citizens have any other questions regarding this new ordinance, where can they go and where can they find more information?
They can go to livewellsiouxfalls.org and click on Breathe Well, and they can find all kinds of information and resources about the policy, links to tobacco cessation, and other information that they may need to know.
Thanks for joining us, Mary, and for all of the great information. We're looking forward to having more areas in our community that are designated as smoke-free. So thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you, Katie.
And finally today, we book it over to the downtown library where the children's area has been remodeled.
Welcome back to the library, everybody. I'm Dan Neves, and I'm here at the downtown library this afternoon with librarian Jenna Negebauer. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. And, you know, I think if anyone were to walk into the children's area downtown, they're going to see, wow, this place is changing, it's different, and it's not just the paint on the walls, although the children's area looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, you're going to see a number of new updates that we have for children here at the downtown library. We've got a Lego table, really great for school age and your younger kiddos as well. Mm-hmm. Our baby and toddler room has a number of updates. It's more suited for at their level. It has book bins for easy browsing for kids. It has a crawling area. We're going to be getting some wall interactives over time, and we also have our wonderful play and learn room.
Yeah, so we have a new room. Where did this room come from? It used to be a staff space, and we sacrificed, you know. It's good, it's great. It's going to be an interactive play area, and I've heard you say Lego table. Mm-hmm. I've heard you say, you know, little play areas for the really young ones, the Rugrats, and this new play and learn room. So why all the toys?
We're really looking at the way that play influences learning. We say that over and over, play influences learning. And a number of the toys that we have featured in our play and learn room, they really foster creative expression. They let kids create things, and they're open-ended toys. They're toys that kids can pick up and do a number of things with. So we'll have rotating toys in this room, like blocks, dress-up, puppets. We'll have musical instruments. There'll be a number of toys that children can play and learn with.
And the clouds that you'll see on the wall in the children's area, what do they say?
Oh, our clouds. I love our clouds. They say read, write, talk, sing, and play. And that is an initiative of Every Child Ready to Read. It really helps us support parents as the child's first teacher and show that we are here for the community and we're here for families.
So those who might say, you know, the library has all these toys, well, what about education, what about literacy? All of this plays a part, and it's how the child's brain develops and it helps them learn. At that age, play is very important.
Absolutely.
And go ahead.
We really want to take a role in fostering learning from birth, and we believe that learning starts there with the parents first and foremost. So we want to support that at the library.
And that's really what the focus is. Everything that we have, the toys, the Lego table, the play areas, it's all for interaction between the child and the parent.
Yes, and to be a community space for our families to feel comfortable using and bring their children to.
So is it just free reign? Is it just, hey, here's our new children's area, here's our new room, and figure out how to be a mom and a dad all on your own?
We'll have our staff nearby to come and walk through the play and learn room to do some interaction with your children. There'll also be prompts up on the walls to talk a little bit about how the toys are used and how you can engage your child in play. When you're using our play and learn room, it's really for your birth to 5 age group. Parents should be with their children in this room. And it will be accessible to families too. We'll have the play and learn room open Monday to Friday from 9 to noon and on weekends, Saturday and Sunday as well, which is really great for working families.
Which is very good.
Definitely.
And staff has training that we're going to go through prior to opening. It's going to open in the middle of this month.
Yep.
And then on a regular basis on those scheduled times that you mentioned.
So we'll have the room open often so that families can come down and access the space and use playing to learn with their children.
So is the downtown library really the only location we can expect this kind of movement toward, where it's the parent-teacher interaction and the play spaces, things like that?
There are a number of our locations that do have established early learning play areas. Our Prairie West location on the west side of town has a really nice play space that includes some magnetic wall elements. It includes puppets and creative learning there. Our Cayley location with its new remodel also has a number of elements that are great for children to learn in. It has a Velcro wall, it has some open-ended toys, and a kitchen area as well.
Right, and they all encourage the parent-child interaction.
We're really wanting families to look at play as an element of learning with their children and to feel comfortable bringing their children to the library to do that.
You know, and it's great. And I think it's really important, and as a parent, I think it's really important. I like the prompts on the wall to help me as a new parent kind of, how do I go about this? Because I'm not going to have all the answers. How else can I use the library to figure this out? What is this whole parent thing?
We have a number of programs that really support a community of families, starting with Lapsit, which is our story time for babies. That starts at best when your babies are 6 months to 24 months old, and that includes a story time and then also a social time with parents and a playtime for the kids. And it's really meant to help you get to know other parents in the community and have your children also get to know other kids too.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
We have a lot of programs geared toward that age group and moving on. So it's not just Lapsits. We've got story times. We have parent-child workshops from time to time. We have a whole parenting selection of materials: CD books, magazines. So all those things help. Well, thank you, Jenna, for joining us today. Folks, if you haven't been by the downtown library in a while, come check it out. See the new children's area. Come to the Family Play and Learn room and visit us online. Give us a call, 367-8700 for more information. Stop by all of our branches. All of us are here to help, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Dan. That looks amazing. And thank you for joining us here on City Scene. Don't forget, you can check out anything you missed on YouTube or over on SiouxFalls.org. And until then, we'll see you back here.